Josh, can I ask you something?
That depends. Am I getting canceled?
I mean, not yet. Depends on how you answer. Have you ever looked at yourself and thought, am I actually healing or have I just become a completely different person? Or is that just me?
Because 5 years ago, I would have answered that phone call.
5 years ago, I would have over explained myself, and I probably still do sometimes.
I would have stayed longer.
I would have felt guilty for saying no.
Now,
Now we're quieter,
more selective.
maybe a little bit wiser, depending on the day.
Maybe just more tired.
So tonight we're asking,
Is it healing or have we just changed?
before we get into it, as per usual, we want to thank the watchers and listeners, but also we want to give a little update. So, Josh, what's been going on with you since the last time we spoke? What's tea?
I feel like this last week has been pretty boring, which is exactly what I needed. I had Blister Central with my theme park bonanza weekend, ready to just chillax. I'm back to the daily grind. I'm back to work. I'm just excited to be living, nothing crazy.
Sounds peaceful, and I like that. I mean, that's what we've been
Hmm.
talking about is just having a more peaceful life. I mean, for me, it's been peaceful, but I did have one of my besties, Jordy, in town. So, and you guys will probably meet Jordan soon. She's going to come on the pod, but we hadn't talked in like a year and a half. And she kind of knew just from my post something was off, hit me up and was like, "What's up?" I was thinking about coming to Raleigh, and she really came at just like the last part of the time off that I had. And it was just really healing and necessary. That's really been what's been going on with me. Just trying to like get back into life, but still being the Tiffany that I found, or the version of the Tiffany that I found. Like soft, thoughtful, and grateful, and just like peaceful with living in the moment. And that's where I am. So similar to you, like I crave boring. I used to want to know the tea and want to have tea and want to have tea to spill, but like really what I just look forward to is peace and not having anything to share and just being like, you know what? I feel okay. I feel good, Want to just get right into finding out a little bit more about how you've changed, and is it really change or is it growth? Right. And so, Josh, what's something about yourself that you've changed that you never want to go back to? And what's something you changed that you're not sure was actually for the better?
Okay. Something I am happy I've changed that I never want to go back to is that broken, destructive version of me that had the steps in my hair that I talked about and that had the piercings all over and that was an alcoholic, that could stay right the fuck in the past. Me now, I'm to a point okay with being OCD in the terms of organization, cleanliness, everything having to be in a certain place. However, I know that it drives everyone around me crazy, including my husband, my
It
employees,
doesn't
my
drive me
friends,
crazy, but
but you
I think if I
understand
was
it.
around more, it might, because you're worse than me, and I know I drive people crazy.
Yeah, I am obviously in therapy, right? This is one of the things. My house is usually clean and people don't have to worry about coming into a hoarder's den.
And it always smells absolutely amazing. Like, you would
Oh,
never
thank you.
know that you had 2 dogs, and in my head, that's what I aspire to do and to be. I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Well,
Josh house smells immaculate, like, my house gotta smell like that." I'm like, "What do I need? What do I need to get?" That's why I asked you, I was like, "What room spray do you use? What do you" like, I gotta know. So, like, the OCD and the cleaning and stuff, were you like that when you were younger, or is that something you developed as you got older?
I think it developed when I got older. I believe there's always been a sense of it there. Looking back, making my bed, getting it made before I went to school, that was something that I think I noticed early on. And then we get further
Oh.
into the organizational closets by color. And then we got
What? You
into,
were doing
yeah,
that when you were younger? Like, how
yeah,
old?
probably like 13, 14, 15, like a young teenager. But I also had this thing where I had 5 other siblings that I grew up living with. So having that space was very rare. Growing up and having that freedom to do whatever you want with your place and your space, and now you have this control over it. I think I went a little overboard. I think that kind of took over my need to really feel okay with my surroundings if it's finally in every single place I need it to be. I mean,
Like, it needs to
if I
be
took a
just
pic
so.
yeah, if I took a picture right now, you'd see Star Wars everywhere, but you'd see like a pattern. I'm symmetrical everywhere, you know? And that's why when I was a jewelry manager, it was perfect because part of your job was making sure your cases were displayed perfectly and that they were all symmetrical and that things were brought up to the front that needed to be displayed based on the human eye going into the case psychologically. You know, so that was something I thrived on. And now I put that forth with my office and everything else in my life.
Honestly, I like that, but I definitely was not like that as a little kid. I definitely was like, we had a chair where all the clothes went to the chair. And that's what the chair was for. The chair was the keeper of the clothes, and that was it. And that was mostly my sister. I shared a room with her growing up, and she's still like that now. Sorry, Amber, to call you out. But and then I just said her name. Oops. But like now I try not to do that. But now I have like you can see the bench behind me's got clothes on it. But like my room is typically kind of messy. I've been trying to make sure my bed is made every day. Like that's a thing that I put on my list along with no spending is like make your bed because it just makes me feel better when I come home and my bed's made. But when I was a kid, that was not it. I think I developed these things just as I became older and then I became a little bit grouchier too. I lived alone for a long time, so I like things just so and the way I put it. And if I make a mess, it's okay. But if other people make a mess, fucking meltdown 5,000.
That part.
Like, and that's not fair. And that would kind of make me somewhat of an asshole sometimes for sure. But also, I've been better at cleaning up after myself. So that way I can be like, no, 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 no. I did. That was you. You know, so I've tried to be better with that. I've become much better at saying no. I don't want to lose that. But if I'm honest, I also think I've become slower to trust people though, where usually I kind of build bonds very quickly and I open up very quickly and I still do sometimes if the energy is right and I'm feeling it, I just do it. Like recently the ladies that I met from the Connected Conversations Supper Club opened up very quickly, but like the energy was moving and I felt it. Because I have become better at saying no, it makes me slower to trust people because if I'm around someone that I feel like I can't say no to or I feel like I have to over explain, my walls are up. I don't know if I should be in cahoots with that person or have that person in my life because I want that person to be able to understand like my no means no. I don't really owe you an explanation. I'm allowed to protect my peace. I'm allowed to say no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to go there. No, that's not the restaurant that I like or want to do. I've become less of a people pleaser and at one point I just all I cared about wasn't that if people knew me or knew who I was. I just cared about if people liked me. And now I no longer care about if people like me. I care about if people actually know the authentic version of me. And then I even overthink sometimes, like, if people just like me because am I performing? Am I overperforming for them? That kind of thing. And sometimes I wonder, though, if that's just wisdom or am I just protecting myself from ever being disappointed again by people not accepting me or thinking that I'm too much or not enough or both at the same time?
There's times where I react based on how I think other people are gonna react, mainly in the sense of communication, especially long term, long distance communication. It's hard when you can't see somebody's reaction. It's hard when you can only hear a reaction, assume what they're feeling based on what you in your head would imagine seeing based on how they're sounding, if that makes sense. So it's gotten me and some friends in some rifts before, you know, because they don't quite understand what I'm feeling when I'm trying to speak. And sometimes my elevated tone or my excited tone is portrayed as angry. And that's something that I've come recently to understand about myself. And I've also been told that I kind of have like a resting bitch face sometimes, not on purpose, you know, but these are things I'm aware, but it does get in the way of communication. I also wonder, do people like me because of the person I present myself to be, or do they really know me for me and do they still like me when they do get to know me?
I think I never stop wondering that. And that's kind of exhausting, but I think that's also a me problem too. Like that's not somebody else's issue. That's
100%.
That's me overthinking, you know? I think I often wonder, why do I feel like I have to put on for this person? And if I do feel like I have to put on for this person, sometimes that's not their fault. That's just me. And I don't know what it is. It's the energy that I pick up, and maybe I'm perceiving it wrong and I'm just not sharing correctly. But One thing that I noticed is that, like, I am proud of the fact that I can say no now, and I don't necessarily have to over explain. I have over explained, and when I did, I noticed it and you called me out for it. But growth shouldn't cost you your softness. I shouldn't have to feel like hard or like I've got armor up just to be say that I've grown. I want to say that my growth comes from me becoming even more soft, from becoming just that person that's just feeding into the energy around her in a positive way. Growth shouldn't cost you your softness, period. And I never want to go back to abandoning myself. And I feel like abandoning myself is saying yes when I want to say no and is over explaining when I don't feel like it. I don't have to. I shouldn't have to give an excuse that someone else deems as acceptable. Fuck that. Because I find myself running through excuses to give people that they would deem as acceptable. And it's like me overthinking already for them. And so, yes, that is my fault. But also, I got to pay attention to people who make me feel that way and not be around them. I just don't want protecting myself to become my whole personality. The goal isn't to stop getting hurt, it's to stop believing you have to stop loving in order to stay safe. So, finding safe people that you can love as yourself.
At what point do we have to own the ability to allow us to feel that way? I have let my friends and family let me feel that way because I set this expectation for them of how I would treat somebody else. I can't expect the same treatment from somebody that doesn't know how because they're not me. And the way that I would do it is not the same way they would do it. But I hold them accountable so firmly because I feel so strongly about the way that I feel like I would approach a situation. But it doesn't mean that's the right way. And that's the part that I've always struggled with. It's definitely a work in progress.
It reminds me of that quote, stop expecting you from other people and start just accepting people for who they are and allowing people to understand who you are too. And like knowing, like I pretty much tell people up front that like during my phases of bipolar, whether it be hypomania or like I can be a flaky friend. And sometimes that makes me seem like a bad friend. And it's like, I promise, I swear I'm not. I'm a good friend. I love you. I'm there. But like I go through some shit and it makes it hard for me to have the capacity to deal with others because I could barely deal with myself. And I'm very upfront with that. So you got to know who your friends are and accept them and choose whether you want to be around. Do you think we become more authentic as we get older, or do we just get better at hiding the parts of ourselves that don't feel safe?
That's a deep cut.
Well, it fit.
We hide the parts of ourselves that don't feel safe only because we've been taught and conditioned of how to do so we can heal and move on and survive. I mean, if we weren't aware of those things and the settings, we're not going to be able to move forward in a way that's quality and productive. Whatever that means for you is not what it means for me. However, I think the core of that is finding happy. And I think that's super fucking productive.
Ooh, say that again. So finding happy, what does that look like for you? How do you find happy? Because I feel like happiness is verbial thing that everyone is trying to get to that continuously moves and you never really truly get to it. So what do you mean by that?
I feel like happy is a stair step. You constantly have to maintain balance on these stairs, but you always want to get higher so you can get to the destination so you don't have to climb stairs anymore. That higher is whatever you set that bar to, whether that's money, whether that's kids, whether that's the vacations, the marriage, the job, the hobby. The stairs are just the balances that you maintain to be constantly moving toward the next stair. What about you?
Honestly, if you would have asked me this a month ago, I would have said that happiness doesn't exist and that it is a bar that is set that continuously moves up every time you grab onto the bar, move up, move up, move up, so on and so forth. But I think that's because I was deeming happiness as it relates to financial, marital, family success. Like, are you a happy family? Are your kids happy? Do you go on vacation 2, 3, 4 times a year? Do you have a job that allows you to spend the time with your family that you need to, but still allows you the material success that you crave, right? That's what I thought happiness was. But honestly, I think happiness is peace. And when you can feel peace in the chaos, and calm in destruction. I think that is happiness. When you're able to really realize like happiness comes from within, it's having that inner peace, that inner feeling of something telling you that it's going to be all right versus having that critic in your head who's constantly saying negative things about you. Is the voice in your head saying you can do it? The world sucks around you, but pay attention to the sunset. Look how full the moon is. Look at the bright ring around it. Look at the planetary alignments. The people that are happiest are the people that notice right where the fuck they are and they're present and they're grounded in that moment. Like a tree. I don't know, that was random, but I feel like trees are really happy creatures, you know? They grow forever. They're the oldest things ever. And they've seen a lot, they've heard a lot, and they've been through a lot of despair. And yet they continue to grow foliage and they continue to provide us what we need in order to breathe. And so I think people who are able to pause, listen, and pay attention to nature are the ones that are the happiest. And I think I've become more authentic in some ways since being able to be more present. You know, I wrote my book. I started this podcast with you. I built community brand new in Raleigh and I struggled for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September that I've lived here. And I'm just now really creating community that I love, that I've built these deep connections through authenticity. But there's still parts of me that hesitate before speaking because somewhere along the way, I learned that being too much can make people feel uncomfortable. But yet I fight through that on a daily so that people know the real me, so that if they like me, it's because I'm being authentically me. So I don't have to worry about potentially cutting them off because I didn't give them the real me from the beginning. If that makes sense.
I'm totally opposite. I need to be a little more guarded. I need to know and to tiptoe into who I'm going to be dancing with for this long tango, you know? Because when I'm a friend with you, I don't just get in there to tiptoe and bounce out. You could be an acquaintance. We can, chit chat and kiki all day long. But when it comes down to it, if I'm going to tell you personal shit about me or I'm going to let you see my good and my bad and my ugly and my fantastic, like you're going to have to give me the same in return. We need symbiosis in a friendship, in a relationship. And if you don't have that, you don't have a successful relationship with that person. It becomes very one sided, and then the other side drops off because it's not serving them a purpose. And that doesn't mean monetarily, that doesn't mean anything other than just a mutual understanding and respect to hear each other out and provide advice and to be supportive and to have fun and to just be there for no matter what happens.
I mean, I completely agree with you there. I just prefer to do that right away. Like I prefer to give you all of Tiffany's so that you know everything up front and then you can decide whether you fuck with it or not. And I can tell if you fuck with it or not. And if you don't fuck with it, then I don't fuck with you and that's okay. Right?
But
Like
don't you deserve the chance to not fuck with them before they get to tell you they don't want to fuck with you?
but that is me not fucking with them. If they aren't on the same wavelength, if they're not giving the energy back that I'm giving when I'm having these discussions and conversations, in my head, I'm already like, oh, this ain't the right energy. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not waiting for them to say, oh, I don't choose her. This ain't pick me, choose me, love me. This is, I see the energy already anyway. So it's a mutual, I don't fuck with you. And the older I get, the less that I want to fit in. I just want to fit in with the people who appreciate who I already am. So I want to show them who I already am from jump so I don't waste no more motherfucking time. Because time is precious. Time is what is the most important currency that there is. And I don't want to lose myself. I became quieter in order to survive at one point, but I feel like now I'm a bit louder so that I can live because I'm sick and tired of just surviving.
Hmm. That part. But people call that being a bitch. People call that being a cunt. People call that being an asshole. And they're not wrong, but the perception that you're getting is only because you probably deserve it. you know?
Right. Maybe I am being a bitch. Maybe I am being an asshole. And you fucking deserve that part of
That's what I'm
me.
saying.
Oh,
This isn't out of nowhere, people. Yes, you have to own the fact that maybe your extremity is on you, but your intentions, they come out, whether that's in a heated moment or whether that's in a quieter moment. But either way, it comes out.
what's one belief you had about people 5 years ago that you don't believe anymore?
I think 5 years ago, at least for me being gay, I think people were a little more progressive. I think people were a little more accepting of who gay people wanted to be, and that was an equal. You know, they were trying to get married. They were trying to be publicly okay being with the same sex partner, or maybe not even the same sex partner. Maybe there was a non-traditional relationship. It could be anyone, anything. It doesn't matter. That's what the community was trying to just get out there to people, is mind your own business and I'll mind my own business. And it's that simple. You don't got to like what I'm doing. I don't like what you're doing, but you can do what you're doing over here. And I'm going to be me and do what I do over here. That's really how society should be ran. That's how the world should be ran. We would all be in a happier place. We wouldn't be in the middle of wars. We wouldn't be in the middle of hating each other. We wouldn't be in a political warfare. You know, there's just so much awful going on. And I'm just fucking sick of it. I'm just sick of it.
Honestly, in order to make it, I just have to be desensitized to it. So I'm at a place where I just don't give a fuck about it. Like, I can't see it. And people could talk shit about that, right? But ignorance is bliss. And I am not at a place where I can take that and tolerate it. And so I think for me, I used to believe that if I loved people well enough, communicated well enough, or gave enough of myself to relationships, work, whatever it would be, then it would naturally just poof work out. And I've learned that love is important, but mutual effort matters just as much. So one sided relationships don't fail because love wasn't real, they fail because effort wasn't mutual.
I believe that we are so far back in hate that we are unable to see how much further we have become. I feel like we've made so much progress that we finally got to like this plateau standpoint where we're like, okay, we were good here for a minute, but let's try this thing before that was like 100 years ago where people hated each other and were racist and were killing each other no matter who you were. If you weren't white and you weren't hateful, like that's who was getting lynched. You know, let's go back to those days where we did all that because that seems fun. Let's try that out. I like that just makes more sense right now in this culture. So that's the difference from 5 years ago to me, is the belief that like that wasn't going to happen again versus here we are and this shit is happening now.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm giving you a blank face because if you want me to be really real, like that's all bullshit. It's not any different than it was 5 years ago. Okay. People felt the way that they feel right now. They just have a president who allows them to feel that way, and they have a fucking platform, and we have social media. Hate didn't change. Hate is exactly the same. The bitch on the street hates me just as much as she fucking hated me 5 years ago. Right. And so if we focus on that, I'll stay there and I'll stay negative. And I have to choose to focus on something else. And I have to choose to stop focusing on being needed or being liked or being accepted and focus on being valued. And what makes me feel valued is having conversations like this. What makes me feel valued is talking to people who ask my opinion. What makes me feel valid is talking to people that if I say, hey, I'm not mentally strong enough to carry this type of conversation or have this political conversation or whatever the case may be, that people are understanding of that and not thinking that, oh, she's ignorant. Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. No, I do know what I'm talking about. I know that my mental can be weak and my heart can be weak if I listen to every fucking thing that I hear on the news. Racism didn't just fucking appear. It's not just here. It's been here. It's been ingrained in every single fucking person that I know. And some people just are able to suppress it, and some people feel fucking free to let their freak flag fly fucking wave because of the administration that we have that allows them to have the permission. So no, I will not pretend that things were different 5 years ago than they are now. They were exactly the same. It's just put on a fucking stage now because of social media and AI.
I guess it just felt safer because it was always worse for your people and our people. You know, it was always worse. And it just felt a little better. And now it's to your point. Yes, now we have this platform where it's okay to be hateful and racist and terrible to everyone else around you that doesn't fit in the bubble in which you believe is the right way to believe. And now we're sitting here trying to scramble for pieces left of what society allowed us to be. And that is no longer a thing,
For
you know?
pieces left of what society allowed us to be. Dope ass line. Just had to say that was a writer's line.
Appreciate that. The ones that have common sense are going, are you fucking kidding me? Do you not see the evil in which is displaying itself right now? You think this is the right way to go. It's not even policy anymore. It's not even political standpoint. It is a matter of ethics. It is treating people with kindness and decency and respect and love, letting them be able to believe what they want to be and believe what they want to believe, but be doing it in a respectful way that doesn't cause harm and hate and malice and destructive nature. It's just enough. I don't normally get political, but this is our platform to finally do this. Like the midterms mean something, everybody. Go out there and vote, whatever it is. Just don't vote for hate. You know, if you're going to pick a party, it doesn't have to be the party of hate.
And this is where we're going to differ. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't believe in voting. I think we have an electoral college, and it might be different for primaries and things like that, but I don't think my vote matters. We have an electoral college for a reason. Trump was voted into office even though he didn't have the popular vote. I think that this world was set up to be bred off of hate. That is how we even became a country in the first place. And I don't think that it will ever die. We have to figure out a way to maneuver and be the change that we want to be every single day through the kindness that we provide people on a daily basis. And I don't think that that's something that's going to change through vote because I know plenty of people that voted for peace, but they don't give a fuck about somebody being lynched in their backyard. So they can fucking kiss my ass with that bullshit.
Mike, drop that shit. I mean, ladies, gentlemen, everyone else in between, did you not just hear that? I mean, that is some powerful shit. We need to stay in that lane, people. If you got hate, we don't want you listening to this podcast. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You don't need to be here. We appreciate your time. It's been great for your seconds on the analytics, but we don't need your bullshit. Keep it moving. We're here for positive, real conversations and sometimes not positive conversations, but we're here to have fun and to be accepting, to be able to give you, everyone else, a platform to be able to feel how you want to feel and to relate how you want to relate. And it's okay. But if you're coming in here with hate and malice intent, it's not going to be for us.
If someone has hate, I don't care. I'm at a place where like it doesn't phase me. I deal with hate on a regular basis all day, every day. I can't change the color of my skin. And I can tell when people don't respect me or when people will go to one of my employees and assume that he's the manager because he's a white male. It happens to me on a daily fucking basis. And if I cried about it every day, I would never get out of bed. So it is what it is. Hate me all the fuck you want. I don't really give a shit. I'm at that level of peace within myself. And I think that's what we were talking about from the beginning is how do you find that level of peace? Because peace doesn't exist in this world. It will only exist within you. What do you do to bring that peace out? What do you do to calm you down from a heated moment? I miss believing that anything was possible. I just miss that feeling of, damn, I can take on the world. And then as you progress in the world, you start to feel a little less like you can. You know what I mean? And so that is what I miss.
I miss being able to not have to put on layers and layers of masks. I mean, we've talked about putting on masks to perform and to be a different shade of ourselves, but I'm sick and tired of putting on a goddamn snowsuit every time I got to wear a mask. You know, it's no longer just a mask that I can take off. It's now like, oh, I got to take the zipper off. I got to get my shirt off. I got to get my socks,
It's a
my
whole
2 layer.
costume.
Oh my God, it's a whole costume. Like, I'm so tired of that. I got to quit hiding behind the need to wear that snowsuit. And the people that are supposed to be in my life are welcome to stay there. There's not a whole lot of room left for a lot of new people in my current space. I just think that my time is so precious. I don't really have a lot of other time right now to dedicate it to a lot of other things. I still keep those dear friendships to me because they matter and the quality time that I spend cultivating them and keeping them matter to me. That's where I spend my time. Maybe the goal isn't becoming who we used to be. Maybe it's becoming who we don't want to have to apologize for being.
Because healing doesn't erase your past. It teaches you what deserves a place in your future.
Maybe the better question isn't, have I changed? Maybe it's, do I like who I've now become?
If today's conversation made you think of someone who's growing through their own season, share this episode with them.
Thanks everyone for spending your time with us.
We'll see you next week.
Stay aligned anyway.
Bye.